Okay, so we're live now. So welcome to the people that are here on the VC and anybody that's tuning into this from the recording, also welcome. So the idea of today is 29th of November, soon be Christmas, only a few weeks away now, so I hope you all got your Christmas shopping done. And if not do what I do every year and leave it till the last minute, and then I can't find anything and I'm buying stuff for the sake of it just to fill the stockings. So, yeah, be organised. So coming on today, so we're going to talk about the web app and what's coming. We're going to touch on X-Raid, revenue share, a bit about buyback and burn, and then we're going to go over the current bots and what obviously the latest updates have been. And obviously there was one today and what's to come. And then at the end of it, we're going to have a quick summary and an overview of kind of like the future of X-Track and where the team sees it's going, and some maybe some alpha, maybe some details and stuff that's cooking that none of us know about yet. So I'll kick off and we'll start off with talking about X-Raid. So obviously for everybody that has been here or is new looking in, X-Track, as what I'd like to summarize it up as, is a bunch of alpha tools that can be customized and filtered to you as the person that's used them to what you think is best or what best data you can get to help you make more strategic decisions on what you want to purchase based off what is trending on the markets. So an example of that would be you do a search on the latest trending coins in the last 5 minutes. There's top 5, but there's one particular one that is absolutely smashing it on the socials. Everybody's talking about it. There's big hitters and followers that are commenting on it, and the token's only been out a couple of hours and it's at a very low market cap. Straight away, light bulb moment lights there because you've got those notifications and it says, well, everybody's talking it. Why is it so low market cap? You got to have a little look. It's been evident from multiple projects that have been shared in the TG that people have aped off these sort of scenarios, and obviously they've gone and printed because, like anything, if someone puts something in your face enough, especially when it's on the socials of a massive rate, it tends to do well. Not guaranteed, obviously, but it just expresses that something is cooking somewhere that you would not have known about unless you got that detail through the X-Track tools. So to enhance off that, one of the products that the project mentioned not long ago was a product called X-Raid. So I don't like to shill the projects, but it gives a great example. For anybody that doesn't know what ChatterShield is, it is a bot. It has been in over 5,000 TG groups. Okay, so that's 5,000 crypto projects that see that bot. You've all seen it. It comes up, locks the chat, does a raid, and everybody knows that as a tool. Okay, I don't know the project personally. I'm not invested in it, but from what I've seen, it looks very basic. It does a number of commands. So the only way I can explain what X-Raid is, and obviously Tectonic can go over this in a bit more detail, is ChatterShield on steroids. So the idea is that it's a tool that gives way more than just obviously a basic function. And remember, X-Raid is not what X-Track is about. X-Track's a big, massive ecosystem. X-Raid is just a product that is added to that. Now, why is X-Raid important for the overall ecosystem? It's a tool that will create brand awareness. If you see something and it's constantly in your face all the time, it's like boom, boom, boom. You're in this group, you're in that group. Wow, X-Raid, 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 X-Raid. It's that psychological thing that X-Track, wow, that's the place I need to be. You come to X-Track, you see the other tools. Obviously, we're going to talk about the web app. We're talking about the bots that give you all the notifications. There's so many different things. The ecosystem is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So X-Raid is just that first step of creating that brand awareness. So Tectonic, if you want to go into a bit more detail of X-Raid, overview of the product, how you plan to roll it out, and obviously sort of just basically push on from what I just mentioned and how that will keep brand awareness and more exposure, obviously, for the project itself and the holders that hold the tokens.
Absolutely, Andy. So for X-Raid, I think we should be done by the weekend. I'm hoping we should be done by the weekend. The dev just encountered a few problems that were unexpected while we were close to finishing the product. And once it's ready to roll out, what we're going to do is we're going to bring it into our group right here. We're going to beta test it for a few days, make sure that all the functionality works, get some feedback from our community so that we can see what they're thinking about it and any improvements that can be made. And the day that we add it to our group, we will be sending out our applications for CMC and CoinGecko so that everything can line up in time. That way, when the bot is getting out into the public hands, we should have our listing at least on CoinGecko by then. CMC should follow shortly after, and it can have a nice little effect for the community on onboarding new users. X-Raid is going to be, like you said, like Shield, but on steroids. There are a few features. Well, there are a lot of features actually that Shield currently does not provide. We're going to be taking care of improving upon that. We already have, when we release our bot, we'll have a few more features already, and we plan on implementing a few more. So for example, Shield can't capture any token tweets, right? So if I make a tweet about Extract today on my Twitter account, Shield wouldn't capture that if I included the ticker. We'll be able to do things like that to allow projects to get their project name out there even further, because just a bookmark, a like, and a retweet can only do so much.
So just on that note then, so if I saw X-Raid as a bot in another group, what would I be visualizing, just as an idea? So it comes up. Will it have the same kind of thing in terms of you've got to hit so many tweets, likes, and then obviously you'll have this extra data, what you're just talking about, on that on that bot. So while the chat's locked, you'll see that additional information. Is that what you're planning?
So you can do, you'll be able to, so it'll look essentially just like Shield does when the chat is locked. Yes, with our logo there and advertisement slots available. But the group owner will be able to pick from a variety of different things, such as, like, does he want every tweet about his project to be dropped in the group? Because we have that ability, right? So anytime anybody tweets about that project ticker, there would be a notification that gets dropped in the group. Now, on the back end for us, this will actually help us find more projects and more tickers a lot faster, because many people will probably be setting up this bot prior to launch, right? Usually you get your Shield bot. Your Shield bot is just invite to the server and lock. Well, this one will have a setup where you can set up whether you want all the tweets, any ticker mention dropped in your group. And then there'll be a button that you can just click to instantly lock the chat on that tweet. So you don't have to copy tweet URLs, Or if you want to do it the old Shield way, we'll have that option available as well. So that's where the big differentiator will be, is that anytime someone tweets about the project, or anytime the project tweets about itself, if it so chooses, a notification can be dropped directly in the group.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I just want to touch on that then. So there was a key point that I just noticed you said there, the customization. So I'm a project owner. I've got a TG. I X-Raid. When I go and put that tool into my group and add it as an admin, you're going to give me, and obviously this will be something that can be continued to expanded on, depending on what the project might come back to you and say, well, what about, can you add this? Can you add that? So what you're saying is custom filters. So when that chat is locked, rather than just seeing it hit its criteria, you could actually have additional features that are popping up in your TG. So while everybody's looking in that TG of the project, yes, they're measuring obviously the amount of tweets and etc., but there's key information that you may feel is important to new investors that are looking in. That is awesome. I really, really like that.
Yeah, and say, like, for locking the chat, right? We can do a lock until a certain number of quote tweets, not quote tweets, sorry. Well, we could do quote tweets as well, but ticker tweets. So you lock the chat, for example, right? We want 5 different tweets containing the Extract ticker. Well, because our bot can already provide you every time someone tweets your ticker, the chat gets locked. The community goes out, does their thing. Every time they tweet, a message comes in the chat, boom. And as soon as 5 messages accumulate under the lock, chat will unlock. But what that'll allow people to do is that it gives you, just like in our bot, the link to see the tweet. So if you want, now the community can raid the people that are quote tweeting your project, right? The messages will be right there. So some people can go and tweet your ticker themselves, or some people can just be waiting for those tweets to pop up so then they can click and go give it a like and retweet.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. So especially if there's a certain one. So I don't know, maybe you could set it to say that if a certain person tweets and they've got over, 20,000 followers, that pings up in the group. So like you just said there, if one pops up and it says, right, this account with this many followers, and you could measure, obviously we've talked about this before, and I'm sure you're obviously assessing this, whether their bot obviously replies, whether they're actual genuine comments, and then you could specifically pick out those certain ones. So the community that's looking in, especially if it's a new project just launched, literally you can all attack that tweet at once, because coming off that, the Chatter Shield, yeah, it's great. It's giving you the tweets and relikes, but all of those could actually have no substance. You know, you're fulfilling that requirement, but who's actually retweeting it? If it's someone that's only got, 2 followers on their account, it's not really measuring anything, is it? So that is going to be very, very powerful. I think when projects realise that those custom filters can actually get even more engagement from the users that are actually looking in on that TG, that's going to be massive.
Well, yeah, and also on, like I say, on Twitter, right? What gets you exposure is not really likes and retweets. Like that helps, of course. But what gets you the most exposure is an army of people going around either hashtag extract or, cash tag extract. That's what gets you trending, not just on our tool, but on Twitter itself, right? That's what will eventually get you into the financial trending if you're talked about enough. For example, like Grok has been talked about. That made it into the financial trending. So if you have people doing that, the likelihood of your project getting more exposure on Twitter is a lot higher than a bookmark, like, and retweet. A lot higher.
Yeah, 100%. And just on that, so for Twitter for me, I've always been a TG guy. So Twitter for me, I've only started picking up, the power of it over probably the last couple of months. So Extract to me personally is a massive add-on. But just coming on to a point you said there, and you'll be able to know this better because I know this is more your expertise. But with Twitter, there's no point, and obviously I've learned this, in commenting on a post that's 10 hours old and got 500 comments, because realistically, you're not going to get any traction from that. So what you've just got me buzzing in my head is that if you do this Twitter, obviously you lock it and it goes X-rayed. If there is a particular person or it's hit someone's tweet and that tweet's only been out 3 minutes and that's a massive account, you can literally hit that hard with whatever project it is and just literally, I'm assuming the algorithms would just take control because it's constantly bashed quickly on that person's account, which is what people have always said to me. What's good with Twitter is getting those early posts, big accounts, and you constantly hitting it hard with multiple people in accounts. So that, what you just said there, I'm assuming would tie in perfectly.
Yes. Yeah, no, exactly. Like it's going to do a bunch more features and it'll help you expose your project quite a bit more. Our advertisement costs are going to be cheaper. There's going to be many reasons that people will gladly choose X-Rayed over any other competitor.
I love that. And just
we're going to have the advertisement in 2 formats. We're going to have a little TG bot that you can made it, or you can do it on our web app. We have little slots on our web app where
that's awesome.
You can advertise either on our web app, you can advertise on our public bot, you can advertise on X-Rayed, you can advertise on our live feed, right? We'll have a bunch of different packages where, like, if you just want to be advertised here, advertise on all, and all that's going to be going back to the holder. We're going to be
that's
model as well for holders, though. We had a discussion in here the other day with the community, and they seem to like a subscription model as long as the subscription is going back into holders' pockets. And I seem to agree. I don't see a problem with that. We're already giving 100% of ad revenue back. At the subscription model, I think we would do something like 25% we would keep, and the other 75% we would go back to holders. And it's just because we could build faster if we had a little bit more spend. We could market a little harder as well if we had a little bit more marketing spend, right? Anybody can, the blockchain is verifiable. You can check our marketing wallets yourselves. We've spent more than we currently have in it. So if we could grab 25% of those subscriptions and start, throwing it towards marketing and future development, it would probably help the entire community. And I think the community would also be happy with 75% of the subscription model. So it would be different tiers, right? I don't know the exact pricing yet. I'm just throwing out numbers. Bronze tier 0.025, silver tier 0.05, gold tier 0.069 monthly, right? So if you hold Extract, right? If you hold your bronze tier, you pay nothing, right? Of course, if you already hold enough for the tiers, you pay nothing. If you only hold 5K Extract, right? You don't hold enough for a tier, we'll give you like a 30%, 40% discount or something on your monthly subscription for still being an Extract holder. So that way it'll encourage people when they get to the website, I want gold tier, but that's a 0.069. Oh, but if I go buy 5K Extract, I'll get a discount. Let me just go buy some Extract. You know what? Let me just buy bronze tier. Why am I even going to pay the monthly sub? Right? So we're going to try to encourage people as much as possible to go buy some Extract, right? You can pay the monthly sub if you want. That's great. It'll go right back into holders' pockets. So one of two things happens. People start piling in to buy the Extract to get their discounts or to get the free access, or they start piling in and paying monthly and holders are rewarded because of that. So it's a win-win either way you look at it.
Yeah, and just to note on that as well, for everybody that's listening, you have to remember, right, and I mentioned this before we started the recording, with utility projects versus like, your memes and stuff like that, a utility has to pay for access to things. So the API, just for example, is $5,000 a month. You have to pay for servers, people that are working, building. There's so much that you have to obviously lay out in terms of cost. So coming onto the subscription model or things that change or evolve, and you're seeing this in constant updates with Extract, you have to bear in mind that the project has to structure it like a real life company. You can't just have an endless amount of things built and no money coming in. So that's why utility plays, they tend to take a little bit longer, but they're obviously more sustainable by obviously adopting that model. So for me personally, I like the subscription idea. I think if it's balanced in with the tiers and what's already there, it benefits everybody, because like you were just saying, with the revenue share, the money is going to come back to you as a holder anyway. And let's be honest, if you don't adapt or innovate, then the revenue share is not going to come anyway. So I like that idea. It'll be interesting to see how you structure it. And I like the discount, obviously, if you've got X amount of tokens already. So it's a win-win for everybody, in my view.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, that was a community suggestion. We weren't thinking of discounts at all, even. We were just planning on having a subscription model. But when the community decided, like, hey, a discount would be a good idea, I completely agree with it. Like, it's a smart move, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I love the community. I love the community keep feeding these ideas in, because, like you said, and we've had this discussion many times, no matter how good you think you are or you have this vision and plan, you can't think of everything. It's impossible. We all, as our human brains, we operate different. So the fact that someone made that suggestion, you then pop off some ideas, and it's like, wow, okay, this can actually work. If I put this in with what we wanted to do here, move this around. Oh yeah, I tell you what, that's actually more beneficial for the project. Or you might look at it and go, well, actually that doesn't work. Or you might cook something up, and then people say, well, actually that doesn't really work. It's that constant evolving. And that's what, to be fair, and I think everyone is evident that's been here with Extract for multiple weeks now, that has been a constant growing thing. And we're seeing that with X-Ray, the web app, RevShare, buybacks and burns, the constant updates. It all feeds into the overall picture of kind of like where we're going. So the revenue share you've actually just touched on. So we can obviously move across from that. So you mentioned obviously about buyback and burns. Now, for anybody that hasn't read the Git book, there is actually something in there that obviously mentions about regular buyback and burns, which will be done in conjunction with the project. But you actually mentioned that you were planning to do one in line with the X-Raid, and you mentioned there when it rolls out with the CMC, the CG. So all this will be part of the catalyst and the push to kind of give it that next leg, I'm assuming, correct?
Yeah, so X-Raid is what's going to bring the eyes on us, and then the dev, right, once he's done, our main dev is going to be building the web app, but the helper, once he's done with X-Raid, he goes fully onto bot updates for tiers, like it used to be, right? The big 5 to 10 update list. We perfect things here and there. So that way, our main dev, as he develops the web app, he can plug and play the code for the TG bot to just convert it to the web app, right? It's a little bit of modification, of course, but you'll see lots of updates start rolling again for the tiers. That's why the dev today pushed the batch follow. Batch unfollow will be tomorrow, and hopefully maybe another little feature for the tiers. We're trying to keep everybody as happy as we can. Few updates for the tiers over here. Trying to get X-Raid built as fast as we can, because Shield, I don't know if any of you know, it took about like 3.5 months to build. We're probably going to have it done within, I don't know, like if it's done by this weekend, it'll have been 2 weeks, right? So we're building at an insane fast pace. So when that's out there, then it's pretty much advertisement wise. Sure, we'll look at partnerships with some tier ones and stuff. We're always open to everything, but X-Raid will do the advertisement for us. Extract will be in everybody's face for 2 reasons, right? People will want to advertise with us because we will be significantly cheaper than any other option. So automatically, even if you're just in 50 servers, people are like, let me pay a third of the competitor, right? So we're gonna have low prices to start off. Once we start building our user base, right, we might slowly increase the advertisement price so we can reward our holders even more. But that's the plan when it comes to that.
Yeah, so just to let you know on that, well, you mentioned about the update. So the one that came out today, which was the batch follow, Could you just explain what that's about and how that works? And then obviously you've got another one that's coming tomorrow, which you mentioned in the latest pin message.
So the batch unfollows, that's just so people can follow a group of people at one time, right? So currently, like our top tier has 30 follows, right? So when you join gold tier, going follow this person, follow that person 30 times can be tedious and annoying, and I completely agree. So that's why we added the batch follow. So now people can just come in, batch follow, type in the 30 people that they want to follow. Done deal, they follow 30 people at once.
That's perfect. And the one that's coming tomorrow?
That's just batch unfollow. That's just to do the same.
Okay.
If you want to clear your list, it'll probably be like a command like clear list or something like that, where it just clears your entire list, and that way you can start rebuilding your the people that you follow.
Gotcha. So just in terms of obviously age of project as well, and coming on to the updates part, and it always feels like to me, and I don't know if anybody else feels this way, it always feels like that if you don't give 10 or 15 updates, you feel disappointed. And for me personally, I don't. I think that what you've done in the 4 weeks that this project has been live, I mean, we're talking about just over 4 weeks. Okay, that's insane. I mean, the growth of the project, just in terms of the display, I mean, we're looking at now, if you look obviously on the screen, you'll see that you've got the link tree, everything there in terms of website. You've got all the bot groups, the Gitbook, the Twitter. The constant dialogue that has been done over a 4 week period is insane. If you look at the pinned messages, there's over 200 pinned messages. So for me, don't feel like it's, because you've only done 1 or 2 updates, that's not a good thing. You've probably overcooked yourself in terms of doing too much up to now. So I guess obviously people sometimes they think, well, if he's cooking 10 updates a day, obviously that's going to be you just can't do that. So for the work that's been done from 4 weeks ago to now, absolutely insane. So, and obviously we're following that up with an AMA and VC today. So I think for the future progression, obviously we understand about X-Raid, the web app. Have you got access to the back end your end now, or is it still not working?
App, I know that you're busy later, but for the web app, I'll do the web app demo at the same time that you had VC planned for previously. So at about in about an hour and a half, 2 hours from now. And the only reason for that is because the web app is in developer mode and everything was working fine and dandy. However, the dev, before he left his house, he just forgot to place it on his hosting server. So as his computer shut off, so did the web app. And he's back. He said he'll be back in 2 hours. He said as soon as he's back, he'll set it live for me. I'll gladly do the live demo for you guys and show you guys where we are up to date. Our settings page is now working, where you'll be able to choose your snipers and all that, your preferred sniper, preferred dex link, followed people. The web app is already doing something that the Telegram bot couldn't do, which is give notification for all. And currently we have a database of everybody you guys follow working on it, so everybody that's in every user's following list, even someone that's only followed once. We gathered all of that. We put it in the web app to see if the web app would be able to produce notifications for all of these accounts, and they do. So there'll be no problem for you guys getting alerts. If you wanna have Elon Musk in there and just get every single tweet that Elon Musk gives out, you'll be able to have that, because Elon Musk often doesn't tweet a ticker, or some of these big guys don't tweet the ticker. They'll just hint at the project by saying the name, right? So that's already working on the web app. Lots of things working on the web app. The web app is looking very, very good. Honestly, I'm quite excited to be able to give it out to people once it's built. I think the community will really that'll be a big benefit and allow us to do so many more things than just Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the web app is the bit that I look forward to most. I mean, for people that know me, TG, they're limited in terms of functions. So for me, web apps are massive. I obviously saw the post that you shared. It was either today or yesterday. Obviously, you did some screenshots of what the layout looks like. Obviously, this is the initial phase. And for people that don't understand how the web app works, back end, linking, all this stuff, you can't just do that stuff overnight. The back end guys, they'll be setting out a certain line of codes. They've got to pull that information in. Then you've got layout, So when it does come, which I'm not sure if that's going to be a week, 2 weeks, I'm assuming people are we going to get access, or will there be a beta range that if you have the first, I don't know, top tiers, tier 3 and 4? Do you get a day to try yourself, give some feedback, then you open it up to the next tiers? How are you planning to roll out that test phase? Because obviously testing is going to be important before you actually nail it out and say, right, everybody in the world, here's our web app. You're not just going to do that straight away. So how are you going to manage the access part of it?
You said it perfectly yourself. That last thing you said about the tiers, gold tier will get access first, then silver tier, then bronze tier. If it works under that kind of load, then we'll go public with it, monitor it to make sure that if there's any bugs or anything while we increase the load. But that's exactly how we're going to do it. But currently, right now, it's just the developer and I on it, right? So I see certain things and I tell him, and he fixes it, and we just work like that. But as it starts to be a bit more of a full working product, gold tier will have access first. And I'm not going to try to give any specific exact timelines because I hate doing that. Like I did it with X-Raid, right? I said it was Sunday. Some things came up, and now it's not Sunday, and I don't want to look ridiculous. But within 2 weeks, let's just say that. Within 2 weeks, gold tier should be playing with the web app. It might be sooner, but I don't think it'll be much longer than 2 weeks before gold tier is at least playing with the web app. And then it'll only be a few days of testing, right? Gold tier will get to test it for a few days. Okay, yeah, it works good, get their feedback. Then we move on to silver tier, make sure, okay, it handles the load, 1 or 2 days. Bronze tier, 1 or 2 days, boom. Then we go live with the web app.
Yeah, just on that note as well. So if we're looking at the tiers aspect, so when it comes to the web app, obviously if you're looking in and you use this now, the people that test that, obviously that are on the top tier package, you got to remember when that web app goes live, they're going to have every function possible. Okay, so they're going to get to kind of say, well, what about this? What about that? Can you add this? What about this layout? When it goes to the next level, obviously they're not going to have access to all those functions. So if you are a gold tier member right now, try and use that beta test time or when you've got that access to think about all the functions and that you've got. Obviously, when the lower tiers come down, obviously that's just the bonus of having the higher levels. You'll have less functions. So obviously there'll be things that you might say, oh well, what about this? You might actually need the extra tier. So just bear that in mind. And we've talked about this before on previous VCs and AMAs, right? The ecosystem and the tools that are being built are designed and being managed to make trading for you easier, especially when the bull run comes. We've talked about gas fees, accelerating at big rates. You are not going to be able to ape every single coin in the market. You're not. And the reality is why? Because if you want to invest, let's say you want to put $200 into a project and you want to pay $100 gas fee, you're going to sit there and go, okay, there's 5 projects here. I don't really know which one to ape because if by the time I've put it in and paid the gas, I can't do all 5. Now, in a bear market, when gas fees are $4 or $5, easy peasy, have a go at them all. But you're not going to be able to do that. And we know the bull run's coming. So by using these tools and you filtering them to get a better, objective view to sort of where you want to put that $200 because you've got to pay that gas fee, that's where these tools are going to be vital. So right now, market cap, 200K. Gold tier is pretty cheap. When you get to that higher market cap, think about it. Bull run's kicking and someone wants alpha access. You think they're going to be bothered about paying 4 or 5 ETH for a maximum tier when they're going to be getting trades that are popping left, right, and centre? Because you've got to remember, right now, obviously markets are a bit slower. You've got time to look around. Imagine when the market is pumping and you can't take your eyes off the screen for 2 seconds. Where are you going to look? By the time you've gone and filtered the information, it's going to be too late. The project's already run. You need to be ahead of the game. What's going to keep you ahead of the game? Top tiers, because it's going to give you every function possible to enable you to make a smarter decision faster. So just bear that in mind for that risk to reward perspective and what you know is coming and is being built in the ecosystem. And bear in mind, X-Raid and the web app is not even live yet. So I always look at these type of things when projects are building. I think there's been enough in the tank from what's been demonstrated from delivery, updates, constantly evolving. So for me personally, it's just major bullish. So I don't know if you just want to give some final views from your end, Tectonic, and just sort of give us a sort of feel like your passion, what you see is ahead, and I don't know, maybe any alpha you've got or something you've got in your mind that's cooking that you might want to bring down the line in 1-2 months for holders. That could be another advantage on top of X-Raid and the web app.
Oh yeah, well, I'll spill a little bit of tea. So pretty much, if the tool already exists and you know about it, like not Twitter related, right? If it's TG, it provides TG support. It provides you how many snipers are going to be sniping a certain contract. You name it, it's going to get built under this roof. Everything, every single thing, every single tool that you've ever used within the next 6-month period is going to get built under this roof, and it's going to get improved because there's many of these tools that overcharge and that are half broken. I know because I trade and I use them quite often, and they're broken. So I'm going to improve upon quite a few things. So once the web app is done and the Twitter support is how our community likes it, it's as alpha as it can get. We're pretty much at the top of Twitter aggregation with no competition. We will start plucking off other forms of utility that currently exist, improving upon them and putting them under our roof. So there really will be no need for any other tool, right? You can go buy a bit of this project and a bit of that project and a little bit of that project and maybe a bit of that project over there. And after you've bought in 7 different projects, you'll have the same utility that we offer, but it's going to be a lot more hassle than just buying some extract. It's going to be a lot more hassle. So that's where we're going with it. We're gonna, because many people in here probably know some devs, they'll build out one area, one aspect of utility, and then the same dev will go on to deploy another project with utility that could have been added to as an original project, but they're just greedy, right? So we're gonna just build it all under one roof. Everything under one roof. Yeah, contract deployments, how many people are sniping on Banana, how many people are sniping on Maestro, past deployer, how many previous, you name it. You think about it. If you can think about it in your head, it's gonna get built here. So that was a little bit of tea that I had to spill for today, because some people were probably like, oh, where are they going after the Twitter? What are they going to do? We're going to do everything, absolutely everything that already exists. And we'll have it in web app format, and we'll have it in TG format for whatever your preference is. Also, I'm a little bit late on the liquidity lock. No one reminded me of it. So I'm going to be doing that today. I'll get the liquidity lock extended for a year today, and we'll get that taken care of. So that way people can rest assured, oh my God, there's only a few days left it'll be extended for a year today. Everything will be all good.
Yeah, just a note to add on to that as well. And people always, like, when they ask me what Extract is about, I mean, you just put a point there about Twitter and socials and pulling information. I always summarize Extract up very easy. It's a alpha database that's pulling in as much as information as possible to help you make a better calculated decision in terms of where you want to invest your money. So you just noted there that, you could pull in a bot that does, tells you snipers, what's in a wallet, blah, blah, blah. You can have all this information coming in. But there was another point you mentioned there as well. You get a project for A, project for B, project for C, project for D. All right. How the hell in a bull run, when it is all pumping, are you going to be able to watch all those different functions, all those different groups? And look, let's be honest, we're all in so many TG groups. I can't keep up with all the communication across all the projects. As much as I'm on, the computer 24/7, it's impossible. So you have to go in, read data, what's happening here, what's happening there. Now picture Extract, all of this in one hub, which obviously was just mentioned there by Tectonic, right? If you can pull all that detail into one place and you haven't got to go searching 10 other, data points to get that information, that's the power. And from what I've seen here, it's quite evident that they can just keep adding layer on layer on layer. And you as the investor, especially if you're in now, and let's say you've got top tier, you're going to get access to all that information. Now, I'm assuming, and I'm not guessing, I don't want to jump ahead of the game, but all these tools that keep adding, it's not going to be like, oh, by the way, guys, you got to give us another $50 to have this extra tool, and you got to pay for this, pay for that. I'm assuming if you've got that top tier now, you're just going to keep getting added more and more and more to your top tier package. So it's almost like having a car. You have it fitted with all the basics, and then someone comes in and says, tell you what, boys, I can fit heated seats for you. Oh, how much is that going to cost? No extra charge. You already bought the base model of the car, so I'm going to put heated seats in. And then comes back later and says, there's this new DAB radio with 100 extra channels. You can have that for free as well. Picture the same thing. So being in early, which is what's been expressed multiple times, is a no-brainer. You just have to play the time game. Let the team cook. They keep adding more and more and more. You'll look back in a month, 2 months' time and go, holy shit, I remember when Extract came out, it was a small, tiny little bot, didn't really do anything. Shit me, look at what everything it's got now.
Yeah, no, exactly that. So like that's that's the main thing, right? If you are here early now, it's pretty much GG's. That, you know what I mean? Just hold. Don't even look at the chart. Just hold. Use the tech. Tell us what you want built. Give us your suggestions, and that's it. Like by the time we're done building, this tool will make you so much profit with the data and information that you have at your disposal. You'll be able to make decisions so much faster, get so many earlier entries that you won't even think of selling. You won't need to sell. You're going to get paid revenue share. You're going to be making money off endless data that has never all been aggregated before and presented to you on one clean web app. Sure, we'll have different TG bots if you want. It won't be one channel, obviously, because if we had that, you'd be spammed to the high heavens. But we're going to have the TG bots and we're going to have the web app. So like I say, I don't want to name competitors' names, right? But I'm a trader just like the rest of you. I've used the best of the best tools that already exist. So that should be enough in your mind if you're a trader to know what I'm talking about. They will all be under one roof. It'll all be on one web page, and you'll be able to customize that web page. You want this feed here. You only want this feed to be a square, but you want this one to be a long rectangle. It'll all be at your disposal to do what you want to do with it and customize it. Even themes, right? It won't just be dark theme. If you want black with orange boxes, we're gonna try to make it really, really nice so it can be very easy on your eyes and be that one screen that you always go back to for the data that you need while you're trading. Now, all it's gonna take is time. If you guys can give us a bit of your time, buy some Extract. Don't worry about it. Just use the tools and tell us what you want built. Give us your suggestion and feedback. Just leave the rest to us. We've already built what we've built in 1 month. We're only going to keep building at this speed. We don't plan on slowing down. Christmas, of course, we're going to take some time with the family, just like anybody else should, and I recommend it. But aside from that, our work schedule for the team that we are is like none seen. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I've been in a lot of projects myself. We're trying to set the example here. So yeah, there's some pictures for you guys to see that's on the Twitter page right now for the web app. As soon as the dev is back home, I'll give you guys a little view and you guys can give your input. I'm telling the dev right now all right, I think he did just do it. I don't know if you guys seen it before I did, but let me just confirm that has in fact been network lock. Let me refresh this. I believe we've just been locked for a year. I believe we have just extended our liquidity lock for 1 year.
Yeah, on that lock, it'll probably take a little while, but we can do an official announcement after this because we're going to shut this down in shortly. And then obviously Tech's going to come back later, obviously, and show you the web app once obviously that's back up because obviously it's in developer mode, so we can't get in to show you live. But I just want to add one more thing just for the closeout for this VC, and again for all the people listening here and all the people that are going to be watching this recording. When I personally, I'm looking at this now as an investor. When I look at a project and I see a team that works every day, no like what I call bullshit FUD in the TG. It's all calm and relaxed because people are allowing the process to take place. Go and find another project at 200K market cap with what's on hand, what's being produced already, the constant communication. Like I said, over 200 pinned messages. If you can go and find a project, please DM me because these are rare. These are rare as hell in the space. And for me personally, it does sometimes, become a big frustration because you want to try and deliver things in the correct way, in the right manner. But unfortunately, good projects, they don't get given the time of day because unfortunately they all copy and trade off green candles. So if you as the people that are listening in can go and share this with people that good people that are looking for projects to add to their long-term portfolio. We're not talking about getting people that want a 2-3x in 2 days, and if they don't get it, they're just going to sell, even if it's at a loss. Try and bring those, more educated people that have got a spare $100. Doesn't even have to be $150. Just come join the family, make the army bigger. Numbers is key. I've always said this: 1,000 people with $50 in the pot, or 2 people and they buy 10,000. you know what you're going to take. You're going to take the more people with $50 than you are the ones with the big bags, because it's a fair distribution. Everybody's part of that journey, and we all grow together. So that's a final piece out from me. A great VCA, mate. Great stuff, obviously, from you, Tectonic. Thanks for sharing the stuff that obviously you want to add down the line. For me personally, I remain bullish, positive. I love the way that the team conducts themselves here with the constant updates. And for me, it's onwards and upwards. Massive future for Xtrac ahead.
Appreciate you, Andy. Yeah, no, that's, like I said, the liquidity is not locked for 1 year. Transaction just got pinned there, and we're just going to keep building. So, like I said, if you really want to see something get cooked up, just grab your bag of Xtrac, hold on, use the tool to help your trading experience, and give us some time. 2024 is going to be our year, and I can guarantee you all that.
Yeah, 100%. I'm buzzed and pumped for it. So on that note, I'm going to close it out. We've wrapped up about, I think it's, 40 minutes on the nose. So if you're listening to this one, I'm not sure, Tech, if you're going to add it to the end of this video, or maybe it might be worth just doing them separate. Because obviously we have mentioned the web app in this, and we've explained what it's about, what it's going to do. So maybe the next one, when you do it later, maybe just have that as its own one, call that web app VC, or however you want to do it. So, but for this one, it's close out. Thanks again, everybody, for listening. And like I said, if you're listening to on the recording, please come and join us in the TG. Come say hello. We've got a lot of friendly people here. It's very chilled, and massive time ahead. 2024 year is going to be a big year for Xtrac.
Andy, I'll just you can end your recording, but I'll just run a little quick Q&A if anybody has any questions. After
no problem.
Once the web app is perfectly working, I'll hop in VC again, and I'll do another recording of the web app as well.
Awesome. Take care, buddy. See you soon.
Cheers.